Hello, Warrior. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding and having an open mind and continuing to learn. And I'm borrowing a quote from the great Mark Twain where he says, "An open mind leaves a chance for someone to drop a worthwhile thought in it." I love the imagery that he uses. It kind of makes me think of my brain as like a piggy bank, and there's little coins of thoughts that other people can drop in. So let's talk about continuing our education and continuing learning from each other. Once again, my name is Lawrence Stone, and I'm the basic trainer, and I want to establish rhythm to your vision. I'm excited to be coming to you again this week with this message. I hope you're still sharing it. I hope you're still loving it, and I appreciate all the feedback I've been getting. Please continue to give me feedback, comment on my videos when they actually go public. I've done some editing, a little additional editing to them. Watch them again, comment, like them, subscribe to my YouTube channel, all the things, right? Encourage others to do so as well. Excuse me. So like I said, today we're going to talk about having an open mind and learning and growing together. And I feel that this is a very important topic because in today's world, and especially in today's political climate, it is just a struggle. It really is. We've evolved into a society, it feels like at least, where we cannot be friends with or have compassion towards someone we disagree with. And it's interesting because I have a lot of friends that I disagree with, and I still love them, and I still care about them, and I still try to stay connected with them. But some days I even feel like some of those friends, because we disagree, are starting to distance themselves from me. And I have no idea why. It's not like we've ever fought about anything either. But we have to get out of this mindset of just because someone disagrees with me, I can't be friends with them, I can't love them, I can't care for them. We can't have a civilized debate. It's turned into, I have to hate them, I can't listen to them, all I can do is shout at them and be angry with them because they disagree with me. And this is a terrible mindset to have because eventually you're going to disagree with everyone in this world. There's not going to be one person in this world you agree with 100%. If you do agree with someone 100%, it's probably because you're not thinking for yourself. Okay, you got to start thinking for yourself. But you also have to be able to learn and be willing to learn and have an open mind. And as I was thinking about this, I thought back on Abraham Lincoln and his presidency. When he ran for president, it was all about putting an end to the Civil War, about reuniting the North and the South and getting things cleared up. And yeah, he hated slavery, but he did not campaign on abolition. He said, no, I'm not going to abolish slavery. It's not the time. We can't do it right now. And just imagine if his mind was closed off to that. And he stuck to that principle and that idea of, it's not my job to abolish slavery. Someone else down the road will do it. I'm just going to try to help pave a way and reunite the nation. And then in the future, we can abolish slavery. I'm so glad that he had an open mind and that coin of knowledge was able to be dropped into his mind. And he was able to come to the realization, now is the time. Now is the best opportunity we have to abolish slavery. I have to do it now before it's too late. And he abolished slavery. Imagine if he hadn't done that. But because he had an open mind, he was able and willing. So in our lives, are we willing and able to realize maybe we're wrong and we need to change the way we're looking at things or our mindset? I'm going to tell you a story in my life where I'm glad that someone had helped me come to a realization of something I was wrong about. This is going to be another story from Mexico. I've talked about living in Mexico after high school, and I loved it. I had a great experience. It was a lot of fun. And the first place I lived in Mexico was Ciudad Juarez, and I lived there for about 7 months. And it's right across the border in El Paso. Ciudad Juarez it can be a scary place. It's known for two things. One, crime and drug trafficking. It's just a hotbed for crime going into the United States and trafficking crimes into the United States. And the other thing it's known for is disappearing young women. It made international headlines for years about the number of young women who would be kidnapped, raped, and murdered. Many of them, their bodies were never even found. And needless to say, there's a lot of crime that happens in Ciudad Juarez. At the same time, there's a lot of good people in Ciudad Juarez, and I connected with a lot of great people and met a lot of great people and had a lot of great experiences there as well. And so there's definitely two sides to that coin. And I loved interacting with these people. In fact, one of the things that I learned about people in Mexico is they love to celebrate things. And they throw great parties when they celebrate things. And they serve amazing food at these parties. Oh, food was so good. I still daydream about the food. Yeah. I mean, while I was down there, I got sick with parasites a handful of times, like 2 or 3 times at least. And I still came home 40 pounds heavier because I love the food so much. Anyways, one night we're at home and we lived in a duplex and we're at home and I hear fireworks going off in the distance. And I was like, oh, someone's having a party. It must be someone's birthday. It made sense to me. And I thought to myself, when it's my birthday, we're going to have fireworks too, because that's just awesome. I want to have fireworks. And a couple weeks later, I hear another party going on with more fireworks, and I think, oh yeah, it's another party. This neighborhood over there where this party's happening, that is a party neighborhood. And a couple weeks later, I hear it again. And then all of a sudden I started hearing like almost once a week. And one week, it was the second or third night in a row that I was hearing fireworks. And I was like, there must be some week-long celebration going on over there. That's so cool. And my companion looks at me, and he's a very observant person. I was amazed at some of the things that he noticed and observed. Just very astute. And he looks at me and he says, the drug dealers are out tonight. And I'm like, there is no way you could possibly know that. Like, we're here at home, inside our house. There's not even anybody wandering the streets right now. Right now, it's quiet outside. There's not even anybody talking or fighting. Like, how could you possibly know that? And he says, I can hear it. And I listen. I don't hear anything. And he says, you can hear it. The drug dealers are out. And he's trying to explain it to me, and I'm still new at Spanish. I've only been out a couple months, and I'm not grasping every word that he's saying. And he's just, listen. I don't know what he's talking about. Finally, he looks at me and he goes, and I realize that those haven't been fireworks that I'm hearing from the party neighborhood. Those are gunshots. And they're gang wars, and they're drug dealers shooting at each other and firing at each other. And all of a sudden, after that, I would hear those gunshots more frequently. And it became so depressing. It really did. But as I moved forward, he had dropped that coin of knowledge into my open brain, once my brain finally opened up wide enough to receive it. And I was awakened to the world that I was living in. This naive country boy from Idaho had heard about things like this and knew that things like this existed, but he never grasped that he might actually be living in the middle of it. Just kind of happy where I was, and I wasn't preoccupied with it. And I find myself being more cautious as I went out and being more observant of people and understanding that there were people who were living in this, and I was more empathetic to what they were going through and more understanding of what was going on in their lives. And I carried that with me as I interacted with them and talked with them and worked with them, and I learned more about them. It opened my eyes. And even though it was a scary thought, it was a worthwhile thought that was dropped into my mind. So your assignment moving forward for this week is I want you to gain more empathy and understanding for the people in your lives. I hope that we have this service mentality where we want to go and help people and we want to help improve people's lives. And I hope you want to do that with all people. I hope you're observing all people as people of value, all people as children of God. All people have worth and need help with something. and we need to have a mentality of being able to serve and help them. But sometimes differences of opinion, sometimes difference in political ideologies, sometimes just disagreements will prevent us from being able to see the value in a person and how important they are and how they still need our help, even though they disagree with us. So I want you to take a look at a relationship in your life, or a group of people, or someone who you want to help, but you've struggled with helping just because you know they disagree with you or they see things differently than you. And I want you to find out more about them, more about why they believe that way. I remember hearing a story of a reporter who was of a more liberal mindset, went out and got to know people who were of a more conservative mindset, and discovered that they had a lot of commonality and that they could interact with each other and they could be okay with each other. And he wanted to do that with other people. And so he brought in people who had opposing views on the Second Amendment and on gun rights. And he brought them into a room and he was like, I'm going to create understanding among these people, and they're going to still love each other even though they disagree with each other. It's going to be great. And then they started fighting with each other and ended up that they weren't really gaining more respect for each other. But after that meeting, a woman who was a gun owner called a woman on the other side who had never touched a gun, and invited her to go to the shooting range and have a civilized conversation. And she said, I want to understand more why you don't like guns and why you're opposed to guns. And I'm hoping I can help you understand why I like guns. And this woman actually accepted the invitation. And they went and they talked and they became friends. And I don't believe that either of them moved to the other side of their opinions, but they understood each other better. They loved each other more. They had more empathy for each other. And they could see viewpoints of why someone might believe in the opposite thing that they believed. Go get understanding. Go connect with someone who disagrees with you. And you don't have to change your mind. And you may change your mind. And that's not a bad thing. Gaining knowledge and changing your perspective can be a great thing. But at the very least, have understanding as to why they believe this and why they see things that way, and respect them for it. You don't have to shout at them. You can still debate them. You can still disagree with them. But ultimately, love them and want to serve them. That's your challenge this week. Go out and do it. It's going to establish a rhythm to a great vision where we can all live more harmoniously together and love each other for disagreeing with each other. It'll be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Just watch what happens.